So today we have a new guest. Please introduce yourself, Julie Nguyen.
Hi, I am Julie. I am a relationship coach, bespoke matchmaker. I write about dating, and I also run an event company around the world to build connection for people.
That's awesome. What's the event company about?
The events company, it's called See You Soon, and it's an invite-only event series that brings together interesting people to talk about topics that are kind of like near and dear to the heart. We're really interested in cultivating intimacy away from like networking and like building community and like trying to like connect people based on something deeper.
So how you said invite only?
Invite only.
So how does that work?
It's usually through like word of mouth and referrals. So like friends of friends. Yeah.
And how did you get into relationship coaching and this space, this dating industry?
I got into it after college. I was always really fascinated about love and dating. I wanted to be like a marriage and family therapist growing up. So when I got a job out of New York, I was working in marketing and I just really did not like it. I found a job ad to do matchmaking and the rest is history. I was like, wow, this is like the coolest thing.
So how many couples have you brought together?
I brought a lot.
Wow.
I can't even count because I do so many matches. And when I was working in New York and doing matchmaking, New York is kind of like the mecca for matchmaking. I've probably matched like thousands of people together. Out of that, I've had marriages, long-term relationships, the whole thing. But yeah, there's just a lot of connecting happening.
Wow, that's great. Like, what's the process like for that?
Ooh, okay, so the process is usually somebody comes in and they're like, I'm really interested and I have this idea for what I'm looking for in a partner. I work with them to figure out the relationship history, what they're looking for, and then we start interviewing potential people that could be their match and filtering it through this criteria that we've co-developed together.
For the individual?
For the individual, yeah.
But wouldn't you say that's kind of arranged thing? Like
It could be an arranged, and I mean, there's roots in matchmaking that's like very cultural, like Indian matchmaking or Jewish matchmaking, which is all about yentas.
Okay.
So there is like a historic cultural history around it. And I wouldn't say it's a range as much as somebody that's like really, they know who they are. They're very self-aware. They're looking for curated dating that's a step above online dating. And then they're looking for somebody that they know off the bat. There's values compatibility and a long-term vision that's shared thing. Like when you're dating on dating apps, it's hard to discover that until like 6 months later, then the shoe drops. We're basically demystifying that for them.
Gotcha. You're kind of speeding up the process a little bit.
A little bit, but then slowing it down. So when you go on the date, you're not interviewing the person. You already know all of these things are aligned. So all you have to do is show up and feel the chemistry.
But what about the mystery?
Person. Well, the mystery can be
It's like blind dating.
Yeah, it could
Or not
be
really.
like blind dating.
It's kind of like blind dating with a summary.
Exactly. Well, in one of the past matchmaking firms I worked at, you didn't see photos. So then it would be a mystery.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
It would literally be like, this is the person, this is their vibe.
This sounds really cool. Is it for a certain type of person who can't get in a relationship, or is it more for like everybody?
It's more for, well, there's different levels of matchmaking. There's like matchmaking where it's like a little bit more of like a big box approach and there's like thousands of clients being worked with and there's less of a strategic element to it. Dating apps have also built in a matchmaking approach. So there is a level of that. I think the clientele that I work with, they're people that just see time as like an essential resource and they don't want to waste their time and they want to work with somebody that has expertise, experience, and intuition to guide them on this dating journey during a predetermined set of time.
Interesting. I've never thought about dating that much. I'll be honest. Like it's for us, like I could say for both of us, like we would just meet someone. Hey, you want to grab a coffee, and then it goes from there. But the points that you bring up right now. But again, if you're giving them a summary over time, people change.
They do.
So how do you tackle that part?
Well, I mean, that's kind of the thing about dating is that people are very. They're meant to be growth oriented. So like even when you match somebody and they have like perfect qualities, people change based on like external events or internal awareness. So that's kind of like a part of where the relationship coaching comes in. It's like talking to them and guiding them through the process of like what it's like to love somebody have you heard of the quote, like to love somebody, you have to witness like 1,000 funerals of that person because a person's always evolving and love is about like witnessing somebody always in constant metamorphosis and changing with them. You grow together, not apart. That's kind of like how I see relationships.
Wow. Speaking of metamorphosis, we had a book in our seminar class.
No way.
And it was about how people change over time. And I kind of relate a little bit to that. But dating, you're also on dating apps, right? You help the Hilly, I think you were. Highly.
Yes. Hi, I like you. That's what it's, that's like the acronym description of it. Hi, I like you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So what have you done with those platforms?
So it's so interesting with that dating app. I love it because it's very authenticity forward. It's a dating app that they're trying to like put the fun back into dating. And it's like, let's not get so caught up in the criteria and get more interested in like the vibes and the essence of somebody, which is what dating apps have. That's the original purpose, but over time it became more dehumanized by like only judging people based on this really static 2D representation of how somebody is. So of Highly, I just do a lot of journalism where I like, you know, speak to different publications for them. I go on different TV outlets to just kind of talk about the studies they put on and their approach to dating, which I love. It's very refreshing to think about dating from an authentic point of view because everybody's optimizing, you know, you like see photos online and it's like super glossy. Everyone looks really attractive. Their hobbies are like pizza and hiking. And it's like, who are you? Like, who are you outside of the mainstream values that everybody likes?
Oh, we are trying to figure that out.
Okay, I have a good question here lined up. So
Please,
do you think that there's like a dilemma of like natural social connection in this day and age with all the technology?
I think that there can be because online dating used to be so good. Like it used to be, first there was a stigma where it was like, why are you on the dating apps? There's like a problem with you. Then everyone was like, wait, this is amazing. You can see so much visibility into how somebody is and what they're looking for in a relationship. Then it was the oversaturation of always being able to get dates or feeling like you can always see somebody else that you feel like, it's FOMO. I can always, you know, find someone else better. So I think now matchmaking, which has been very old, like there's all this cultural stuff that I was telling you guys about. It's kind of having this resurgence because people want vetted connections. Like they want to meet somebody where they're like, my friend has vetted for them. I know this person through this, right?
Yeah.
Versus a dating app, you're like, it's another dating, like another date.
I think even for guys too, I have kind of an interesting nugget to add to that.
Please.
Like for approaching women, like, you know, because sometimes there's a right way to do it and there's a wrong way to do it, right? And I think if you have like a referral or if a woman introduces you to another woman, like talk about how different that is than if you just cold approach, go up to somebody. You know what I mean?
Yes. And there's a dating app where I think it's like your best girlfriend has to add you to the app and then you have a recommendation.
Oh, wow.
So then they know that all of the guys on the dating apps have been represented and vetted by women in the community. So there's really a dating app for everything now. Matchmaking AI, because there's an interest in that curation that I was telling you both about. They're like, oh my God, this is really interesting. And all of these relationship coaches, some of them have even developed an AI tool where you can talk to them and then they talk back like you're literally the person. And then they ask them questions like ChatGPT. So it's like the wild, wild west, right?
Wow.
Where do most relationships start?
Most relationships? What do you mean? Like in terms of
like at work or like in social setting? And do you know like the studies of that?
I think that it's so varied because the climate for work is different because so many people are like working from home now.
True.
So I think it's like a little bit more online dating, a lot of like sliding into DMs.
Yeah, that's
definitely
true.
A thing. It's definitely a thing. And, you know, obviously through friends, I think that like speed dating and all of these really interesting applications of dating, people are just really curious about it because we're so driven by connection. And they're like, how can I find somebody I feel like I'm really going to connect with? So there's many, many ways.
Okay, so this is the season finale, so we got to do something we've never done before.
Okay, yeah,
I want you to give us some live coaching on the podcast, live relationship coaching. So we can start with Samir.
I love that you just volunteered him.
Like, that's great. That's great. Puts me on the spot.
We'll keep it general. We won't say like names. You know, privacy will be kept, obviously. But like, let's discuss. Let's go. Let's give the people something right now. Let's go.
So
talk to Dr. Julie.
What's your stance? Like, I know you're kind of advocating for online dating.
Yes.
But I personally feel like meeting people in person is more connecting than talking to someone online.
Completely.
So for people who don't have the resource or like don't have those dating apps and want to like approach it the traditional way, what would you suggest them?
I would suggest, I mean, this is why third spaces are so interesting. Have you heard of a third space? It's like where you used to go outside of work and school, and it's like almost like a church or a coffee shop. People were saying that Taylor Swift's concert was kind of like a third space because so many people are convening and like it's people with shared interest. So I think third spaces are like that could be your hobby. So like let's say you really like playing sports, meet people at sporting events and like connect with those people. And if it's like a lot of guys because you're doing sports, and just say like I'm single. If you know anybody that you want to introduce me to, you can kind of make it through like a friends of friends community approach, which can be as successful as like online dating.
Interesting. Go to friends of friends.
Yeah.
But his question, I kind of feel similar, honestly. Like, I think maybe it's weird that maybe we have this because you do meet them in person eventually, but you're not meeting them in person, right? You're meeting them on a dating app. You kind of have like all this. I honestly feel the same way. I don't really want to meet the love of my life on a dating app. What would you say to me?
I would say that's totally valid and that's completely cool. And I would say just be really open and expressive in your regular life. Like you don't have to hire a matchmaker because what a matchmaker is doing is they have a community of people and they're reaching out to that community and saying, this is who I'm looking for. Do you know anybody like that? A matchmaker could be your friend. It could be your coworker.
True.
It could be each other.
Yeah.
You know, like you guys are meeting a lot of people. So then you could say like, oh, this is what I'm looking for. You can just go and to like a new restaurant, sit alone, just meet people regularly, organically, and say hi to people on the street. It's totally possible.
I love that. I'm so happy you brought that up. Why don't you walk us through? What would you ask a patient? Like if somebody said, "Hey, Julie, I want to come see you. I'm really struggling in my dating life right now. Like I want to find the one, but I can't."
It shouldn't be a patient. Should be a client.
You know what? Whatever.
I didn't realize that. I guess you're right. It's a client.
It's more like counseling,
You seem
right?
like a down bad client. what would you say to that client?
Well, I would say first, I would really thank you for expressing that vulnerability because it's very vulnerable to like admit to somebody that you're looking for connection. And it's so funny because as humans, we're so hardwired for it, like a sense of belonging, a sense of connection. And it's hard to be like, oh my God, I feel like I need support in this thing that I should be, and I say should have air quotes, like I should be doing on my own. So I would first like really welcome their energy and their vulnerability into the space. That softens the connection and creates more trust to talk about like why do you feel like you're looking for the one, where you at in your life, and kind of get more into the weeds of like, well, tell me about who you are. Because I really believe that we attract people that are reflections of who we are. And I'm curious, like if you're looking for the one, where how have you met that within yourself? And then it's like, okay, well, this is the kind of partner I can kind of see with you. So it's a very mutual conversation. The relationship coaching comes in when the person thinks I'm going to hand deliver the love of their life to them. That's not real. It's kind of like I kind of date it to movies for creating that myth. Like it's when you meet somebody that's fantastic, there's a lot of maintenance to continue to have that relationship thrive and nourish. But if a person believes you're going to hand me this person and I'm not going to like do the work to fold them into my life, to like be able to navigate conflict, to merge our friends and families together, to like compromise with them, that's where like I'm like, okay, this is where we need to like talk about like where these blockages and things are coming up.
So it starts from knowing who you are.
Definitely. As much of that as possible.
So how much a role does it play where a person knows whoever he or she knows, like, okay, I'm at a place where I can actually see someone, I can maintain a relationship. Like how do you help people identify that?
I think it's, well, when they come to me, that's usually a really big sign that they have been able to do some of the work. And a lot of the inner work is like, I have thought about my attachment style. I know my love language, like all of these archetypal systems that are giving you language about who you are. That's very valid because you're like starting to identify who you are, who you're not, and how you want to be in relationships. So when somebody talks to me from that perspective, it's much easier to work versus somebody that's like, I don't really know. And I'm like wanting you to tell me, because then you start to like externalize who you what you're looking for. And I think when you go down that road, it's like a road of unhappiness. It's kind of like, when you if you like listen to somebody else your entire life and then you like never know why you're doing the things that you're doing, it like creates a sense of like unhappiness because you don't know who you really are and what you're really governed by. So I try to return that back to them as much as possible.
So what would you say true love is? How would you define love then?
I would define
in
love
today's world.
In today's
world, 2025, because it's different. People have different visions of love, different definitions of love. How would you define as a matchmaker?
I would define it as it's like a very clear mirror, like somebody that can see you lovingly, compassionately, can witness you in all of your states, but also somebody that really like it's like very tender the way that they want to understand you. I feel like wanting to understand somebody is a really high sign of love. Because like loving is very easy. You can like love a lot of things. You can love cereal. You could love like the coffee shop by your house. But like understanding why they're doing what they're doing and giving a lot of space for that, that's a really high indication of like, wow, you're like in love because you like really care deeply about why they're doing what they're doing.
Great definition there. I mean, go
okay,
ahead.
I want to go back to that thing you said in the beginning about like making more connections and like being more open. So how can people break out of that shell and like get more opportunities to go on dates and stuff like that?
Well, this is the thing about online dating is, it gets such a bad rap because people are like, oh, online dating is so hard. I feel a lot of frustration or it feels really dehumanizing. I think that if you approach dating from a really fun place and those different ways as pathways to meet somebody, it becomes way more fun. So like just kind of approach it with not a lot of pressure and a lot of openness. Like the person that you're meeting may not be the love of your life, but they could be an amazing person that you get to learn yourself from.
True.
So like when people approach dating from that way, I know they're going to be successful with dating because it's like, wow, that's the energy you're looking for. I mean, I'm sure you've been on dates when somebody's like looking at the time or
Yes. Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like they're not like as excited or they're kind of treating it like I'm just doing this date and I want to see if you meet these boxes.
Yeah.
It's so energetic.
I don't like those dates.
It's so
at all.
deflating, right?
Yeah.
But imagine you met somebody, they're not your match, but they're fun. They get to know you.
Yeah.
You walk away and you're like, I kind of liked that I just had dinner with a really cool person.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I
kind
love
of
that.
the vibe. Yeah, that's what
That's
I think
great.
people can go to. Playful.
Yeah.
When it's so like weighted and you can feel like there's an expectation or a particular response they're looking from you, dating then starts to feel like, oh, I'm just kind of like
Trying to prove yourself to that person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like you just want me to fit this idea of love you have in your head.
Yeah.
And that's not a fun place to date. It's not. And from matchmaking, that's what I really try to liberate clients and matches from that feeling of like, it could literally be anybody across the room.
True.
Like you really want to feel the sense of like excitement and joy of like, wow, the person sitting in front of me is also looking for love and they're just as deserving of like connection as I am. So let me try to get to know this human, not let me try to get something out of you or you're going to be the love of my life.
To this person.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Let me impress them.
Yeah.
Like all of that stuff just takes you away from
Your
why you
authentic
even went on
self.
the date.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. What do you think about like if a relationship gives you anxiety? What should you do at that point?
I think that's super interesting because that means that it's triggering something inside of you and kind of like inspect what that could be. So like if you're getting anxiety because they're not texting you, then it could be like, okay, where am I looking to seek reassurance and validation of this person? And this is like something external that I can't outsource to them because let's say they give it to you. The second they take it away, you're going to be rocky. So that's why like it's really good to have an internal solidity of like how you're feeling about yourself. So like that's why I think relationships are kind of like an amazing space for growth. It's like therapy because like you're with somebody, you're talking to somebody, and then you're feeling really activated, triggered, upset, frustrated by them. They're more like bringing up these issues. It's like not them as much as it is like they're just kind of like perfectly attuned to this thing that you already kind of had inside and you're like, what is this? What is going on? And then you being in a relationship, it makes you want to change it and face it. Because when you're dating somebody, you're more motivated to like want to be a better person for them. But if you're single, then you're like, I don't need to look at that. Why would I touch my avoidant behavior? Because like, I'm totally fine doing me.
But I have a great follow-up question to that. That was a great explanation. But that was a great explanation, actually. I'm single, so there it goes. But when is the right time? Like, I know you have a lot of clients coming in, but when is the right time for someone to jump into a relationship?
Oof, there is no right timing. It's so interesting because I just, I did online dating for somebody recently, and she started dating this guy. They've been dating for 5 months, but now they're like planning and maybe moving in together. They're like in their 50s and 60s.
Okay.
So it kind of, you know, like that kind of
Clock
makes
is
sense.
ticking.
But I'm just like, wow, like there's something about, they're on this accelerated timeline. And she was asking me, how do you know when I should move into somebody? And I was like, you can't know. Like, I can't tell you. And that's kind of another thing of like, just because I'm an expert in dating doesn't mean I'm the expert on you. That's like your job. And my job is to like help illuminate all of these blind spots so that you can perceive that within yourself. So like even with you're asking like, when is the right time? It's when you have a readiness to like let someone into your life, and then you can do the work to fully let that person into your life. So like, let's say they're like moving in with you. Can you give them more space literally in your house? Or are you going to be like, no, you can't even have this drawer? If you're saying that, then it's like, okay, maybe. You know?
This is my closet.
Yeah, like this is my house. Or like they move in and then you get upset when they're like doing their things. And it's like, wait, are you ready for a relationship? Because like when you're with somebody, you're merging these two different lives together. You're not just like expecting somebody to come in and like only service what you're looking for in a relationship. So like if you're willing to be expansive, giving up your weekends or feeling like you want to hang out with them during the nights that you'd rather be alone, that's a pretty great sign that you're like really wanting to welcome someone into your space. But if you don't want those things, then it's like, oh, then maybe you don't really want that kind of deep connection, even though you say you might. But if you're not making space for that, like, where is that coming from? And then it gets deeper because then if you're working with me, then we talk about vulnerability. It's like where you're not being vulnerable with this person in other areas of your life. So then
Go into that though. What's the vulnerability test that you're talking about?
The vulnerability meaning like, can you talk about things that have happened in yourself, your relationships, and kind of like have this emotional language for it? I think that's something that, I mean, even I'm a beginner to my emotions because no one really teaches you how to feel your emotions. So emotions are like very uncomfortable when they come up. So when I'm talking to somebody about what's happening for them or to them, I kind of gauge if they're able to like access their emotions and not just like have stories around it. Or you know when you're talking to a friend after a breakup and they're like, how did it go? They're like, it's for the best. Yeah, they kind of use a platitude, and it's like, oh,
it's always positive, but it's like
always
never
positive.
Not, never
Exactly.
positive.
Right? They're just like, yeah, it's totally cool. Like they kind of speak from that perspective, and then you start to think like, oh, interesting. Like they haven't touched it yet, like the sadness of that yet. And the sadness, and it's like very brief because emotions. This is like an interesting fact that I always think about. It only lasts for 90 seconds. But what makes you hold on, but you have to identify the emotion, feel the emotion, and then discharge it. That's happening within a 90-second arc. But if people don't know how to identify the emotion, or like, let's say you're sad, but you think you're mad, then the feeling stays inside of you longer.
How do you discharge the emotion?
How do you move on?
You like
Besides
move through
drinking.
It. Well, that's exactly how you don't
kidding.
feel it. Well, like people numb it through like drugs, alcohol, sex, dopamine, social media, doom scrolling, literally anything besides
food.
Food is a huge one. You have to just feel it, feeling it and feeling the discomfort of it. And you know exactly what I'm talking about when you're like feeling that sadness and it's like, right? And you're like, let me do anything but feel it. You like grab a bag of chips, you like grab your phone, you go outside
go
and
swimming.
like, go swimming, go shopping, just something to like not feel that. But that's kind of like, I also work a little bit like in nervous system expansion because like your tolerance to feel your emotions is related to your nervous system. So if your nervous system is more contracted, the tolerance for those feelings, it's less. Because how can you feel it when you're like, your body's in fight or flight? So I kind of work with clients through that too. So it's not just dating, it's like a whole holistic, comprehensive system of like, kind of like loving yourself and learning how to love others in a very clear way.
Gears really quick. Let's talk about texting and like good communication. What does good communication look like?
Good communication is based on secure attachment behaviors. So like when you think about a securely attached person, I think about the acronym CARP. Consistent,
Okay.
available, responsive, reliable, and predictable.
Okay.
It's CARP.
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 That's like an acronym for qualities in a securely attached person you can look for. So like when you're texting somebody, when you're playing games, it's very likely that you're interacting from like a dysregulated nervous system. And a dysregulated nervous system can read the highs and lows of avoidant anxious behavior as like something exciting. You know, when you get that rockiness in your stomach or you feel like the sense of like, I don't know if they're going to get back to me, that's like not a good thing. It's not a good thing if you don't feel a sense of like trust.
Secureness.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A sense of like this person
Uneasy. If you
cares.
feel uneasy,
Yeah.
so that's a big red flag in a relationship.
It's a red flag because
Yeah.
it's like, what are you doing and what are they doing? That's kind of creating this dynamic. If you're like securely messaging somebody and then they don't text you back for 2 days, someone might then think, I'm not going to text them back for 2 days. So then
That's
I
kind of
can.
what happens. It's like
right?
this negative snowball, but then the opposite. It's like you keep texting, then you keep texting.
Exactly.
And it's like when you stop, and it's just like that's it.
Exactly.
I was thinking about that the other day, actually.
In what way?
Just like how with how we talk to each other. I don't know. It's just weird. Like it's just weird. I don't know. I think like the communication is so important, and I think like even if you're busy, you can still communicate. Like I have 2 phones, and I still respond to my texts on both phones.
But that might be your texting baseline. Some people have different relationships with their phone, and that's where communication comes in when you're getting to know somebody. And I even said this to my boyfriend when we first started dating because my boyfriend has 2 kids. Like, I don't have any children. I don't know what it's like to manage a family, and he manages a company. So there's all of these things he had going on. When we first started dating, I was like, what's the preferred communication cadence? Like, you seem really busy. I'm also like traveling a lot. What makes sense? So then me and him were both like, oh, actually, let's text when we meet up. But then in between, let's not maybe message as heavily. Some people may not like that, but me and him.
But you were just like, I
uniquely-
understand that.
Exactly.
You got stuff going on.
And it made sense for me too. Like I was
Wow.
also negotiating
That's really cool, actually.
It's because you were forward enough to ask that question.
Yeah.
So-
Because he was like texting me when he was driving to Vegas. I was like, you don't have to do that. Like, you don't have to like do that just because people say there's these rules of texting.
That kind of goes back to the secureness of a relationship, like you were talking about before.
Exactly. Yeah. And if you have security in yourself, like some people maybe like, don't do that, Julie. That comes across a certain way. I just wanted to have frank, open communication because I didn't want to be like, why didn't he text me after like a day or 2 days or 3 days? You know, I'm just going to be upfront and ask what he prefers and what I prefer, then talk about that together. So communication is massive, and you can kind of co-create that with the person that you're dating, and it's going to be different for each person.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's really important for people to like bring up issues, like squash them right when they come up, and not let it build and then bring it up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I think good relationships, you have that communication.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You do. And you feel like you have the good communication, and you can also kind of be open to communicate uncomfortable things. Like some people are very afraid about bringing up things because they don't want to hurt someone's feelings.
Yeah.
But then it's like, you have to trust that you're choosing a person that can handle their feelings.
Yeah.
Because if you're always afraid of hurting their feelings, then you're going to not bring things up. Then you're going to get resentful. Then you're going to be like, now I really don't like you anymore. I feel so disconnected from you. And all of that could have been solved by having a lot of uncomfortable conversations. I kind of call it like 1,000 cuts instead of like one really big, like cut at the end. It's like just feel the little bits of pain and incorporate that. A lot of people, they're so caught up in the honeymoon of dating where they're like, it should only feel good. And I don't think that's realistic because life doesn't always feel good. So then how can you expect a person to always make you feel good? And if that's what they're doing, now you're having them perform.
Yeah.
And if they're performing, they're not them. And then
Yeah.
it's not authentic. So there's all of this stuff with it.
So following up with that, is that a reason why we have so many divorces?
I think a lot of divorces, it comes from a lot of money is actually the number one
Oh, really? Okay.
reason for divorce.
I was thinking more in lines of communication, as you were saying.
Well, communication, because can you talk about money? Money's very uncomfortable. So like if you can't talk about money, if you can't talk about like, what would we do if my parents got sick? Like, what would you do actually? And like really communicating with your partner about that instead of just a lot
assuming.
Exactly. A lot of people assume in relationships, the person thinks exactly like they do. You know what I mean? So it's like, they see things the same way as me. This is how I see things. It's the same thing as infidelity. People think texting is cheating. Some people think kissing is cheating. Some people think dirty dancing at a club is cheating. Everyone has such different interpretations. So the only way you know is if you dig into the nuance.
Do you think texting is cheating?
I don't.
If you're in a relationship with somebody.
I don't, but it depends on the intent. So like, are you
Depends
just
on the conversation.
Exactly. Are you texting somebody? Cool. Are you texting at 3 a.m? No. So it's like the nuance even. Right?
Gotcha. Okay. We used to run around the streets and ask people relationship questions, but now we actually have a relationship expert sitting in front of us. So let's get Julie Nguyen's red flags. Let's start with that. And then we'll do green flags after. Let's get your like legit, like certified red flags.
Certified red flags. I'm just going to put a stamp on it. Some red flags I would say is how they talk about their exes is an interesting red flag. Because if you're talking about the exes in a way, you can be honest, but if you're kind of like bashing or you're like...
That's a massive red flag, isn't it? That totally is. Well, what are they going to say about me when this doesn't work out?
Well, I think it's more so like, because like it's very likely that a lot of relationships in our life doesn't work out. So what does work out is the way that we're able to end the relationship of kindness. I always say that like forever does exist in your relationships based on how you guys talk about each other. So when you speak about them kindly, it's very likely that you're speaking about yourself kindly too, and then how you were in the relationship. So that's more of what I mean. It's like the nuance of like, can you see things and like really understand what happened and take accountability is also really big. So taking accountability, meaning that you can look at something that's happened to you and not be like, it was that person, but actually be like, wait, I could have contributed to this in this way, and I'm going to look at it and work on it. That's self-improvement. And the point of like self-improvement is not to be perfect. It's just to become like a more whole person. So when you see yourself and you look at yourself, you can acknowledge the good and the bad and the ugly and the beautiful. All of that coexist in our dynamic humanness. Like it's just human to be this way. So I think a lot of people that take accountability or red flags. So they don't take accountability. They kind of like bash their exes in a negative way. And I think if they're not, they're kind of like seeing things in black and white a little bit. Because when you see things in black and white, that's actually a cognitive distortion.
What do you mean by that, black and white?
Black and white, like it's good or bad. This is, it's one or the other. And life.
Like blaming somebody?
Blaming could be a thing.
Yeah.
Because like when you zoom out, is anything really ever black and white?
No.
Exactly. Like it's so hard to find something that you can objectively say this is bad. I mean, of course, there's things that we're talking about, like the worst things in society. We can say that. But for the most part, there's so much in life that there's nuance. Even if somebody did something bad to you, like cut you off in traffic, there's always that story. What if they were on the way to the hospital? So like you don't really, so then they don't think they're a bad person. They're like on their way to see somebody. So there's so much nuance. So I think that's somebody that can't really see that. It's not like a red flag per se, but it's definitely an area of growth to look at.
Okay, keep going with the red flags, please.
Okay, then I would say another one is kind of like assuming with dating that somebody's gonna like solve and fix your problems. It's the same thing of like relationship coaching or matchmaking, and those are not the people I work with. They like come and they believe that you're gonna complete something.
That's what we were talking about before, right?
Right.
That's what I was trying to get to, and you kind of summed it up right here. Please keep going. Yeah.
Yeah, because when you think somebody's going to complete you, there's something that you're like, there's something underdeveloped, unexpressed within yourself that you're kind of like seeking somebody else to fulfill within you. And it's not, I don't want to say it's bad because I don't like labeling those behaviors as bad. It's just a certain level of your emotional journey. Because it does come to a point when you do realize if I put so much of my happiness, my fulfillment into another person and they don't live up to that, it's the way that you then look at them. Like you did this when it's like, wait, then this is the accountability piece. Can you like take accountability that you were asking them to fulfill something impossible, which was something internal that you kind of had to like do for your own.
Deep.
Any more?
I mean, yeah, there's
one more. Give us one more.
There's little things I would say maybe also kind of like being, I think like bad communication in terms of like what it's done for dating culture now. This is why people don't like
the
dating.
ghosting stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
Ghosting,
example.
breadcrumbing, all of these things because people.
What's breadcrumbing again? I think I heard about that actually.
Breadcrumbing is when you just kind of like reach out every once in a while.
Ah.
You like leave a little bit of breadcrumbs.
Oh, like for the rat to come get it.
Yeah, exactly.
Little trails.
Yeah, like little bits of things where you're just like,
Interesting.
I kind of want to keep them interested.
Wonder how many more names we'll have. Ghosting, breadcrumbing.
There's
what else are we
so
gonna
many.
have?
There's like shading, which
What's
is like
shading?
shading is like it's in the summer where you like only really
Only in the summer?
you only like really kind of like in the summer you're having fun and you don't really want to date anybody, so you keep somebody on ice.
Ooh.
So there's like all of these. So then like as soon as the summer ends and they're like, oh, I want to see you, but I kind of wanted to like, you know, mess around before then, but I wanted to just keep you cool in the meantime. So there's all of these dating terms. All of it basically
Wow.
is bad communication.
Yeah.
It's like being unable
like
to
bad
express.
communication terms.
Exactly. They're like saying like, hey, actually, I want to date
sad.
with you. I don't really know if I like you like
Yeah.
that. Can we just be, I really wish
Like
you
toxic, just like going back and forth.
well. Exactly.
It's like your backup option.
Well, it's kind of like a backup option, but it's also like an inability to express maybe I'm not emotionally available enough to like give you what you're looking for.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a sign if somebody is not able to communicate those things, that's not great. It's not a great sign.
Okay. Enough negativity around dating. Let's talk about the positive side. Green
Yeah.
flags in people.
I would say a really beautiful green flag is definitely somebody that they have a lot of like honesty.
Uh-huh.
So like somebody that's able to kind of like see themselves in a very clear way. So like they're not
Very
like
transparent. I
yeah,
love that.
they're not like overhyping themselves. They're not
Yeah.
like self-deprecating. They're just like
They're
very
humble,
balanced.
very settled. Yeah.
Exactly. There's something really nice about that energy because the way that they approach that means that their viewpoint on life
That's attractive. Yeah.
it's very balanced. It's very good. And then kind of like the inverse of all of the red flags I was explaining is then a green flag. Somebody that takes accountability. They can look
Yes.
into their past and be like, you know what? Yeah, my ex did do that to me, but this is kind of where I saw I
screwed
could have
up,
done better.
Yeah.
And I did work on that. And this is what I did.
yeah.
Like that's extremely, can you imagine if a girl said that to
it's
you on a
very
date?
vulnerable. Yeah.
Super attractive.
That is attractive.
Right? Like
Yeah.
she can admit like, yeah, I don't think I did the best thing. I kind of messed up. Because it's like, whoa, you're vulnerable. You can admit that about yourself. And you know
Yeah.
it doesn't mean anything about you. Like
Yeah.
just because you're saying that doesn't now mean you're a bad person. They understand that doing that means that it's just a part of their story, but it's not who they are. I think really good communication where you're able to communicate uncomfortable things.
Yeah.
I'm like really big on being uncomfortable in dating because that's where a lot of growth happens and discomfort. It never happens outside of that. So like when you trust people and you don't like it's kind of like when you kind of like see their, because some people that don't trust people to handle their emotions, you're almost like infantilizing them a little bit. Like you kind of see them as children because like if you can't tell somebody what you're really feeling, to me it then signals you don't trust me to handle my emotions.
Yeah.
And then you start to feel like a
You're
lack
kind
of
of
trust
hiding
in
that from
yourself.
them in a way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think honesty is really important. I
Trust
think
is big too.
yeah, huge. Boundaries is also really important. So like being able to communicate your boundaries with somebody.
Yes.
Like let's say let's say I'm not a good texter. I can communicate. I'm not a good texter and I don't want to text all the time because that's how I live my life. And I know if I did do that just to override it to please you, I would start to feel resentful of you. And then you can communicate those things. And boundaries is not about controlling them. It's about telling them, like, this is what I'm going to do. And that's simply it. So like there's just a lot of like solidity as you're kind of like noticing and how I'm describing a person. It's like they feel solid in themselves.
But if you're like, as we touched upon this before, if you're scared to hurt someone's feeling, how do you pass over that edge of being honest and transparent?
You can say, I'm really scared of hurting your feelings. Can I talk to you about something? This like I'm very uncomfortable. I'm going to be very clumsy when I'm saying this. I'm not going to say it perfectly. I'm learning how to express this, but like, I need to tell you this because it's hurting me. Can we be open and talk about this? And then even as they're communicating and you're communicating it, you can keep saying, I'm terrified that you're going to be hurt by what I'm saying. And then can you feel like as soon as I said that, how the energy feels? Your body drops. There's no defense. When you're like literally admitting to somebody, I'm terrified. I'm like actually speaking to it. I'm not circling around it and pretending that this is not happening in the room. That's also like a principle of nonviolent communication.
Yeah.
People get certified in that where like you name the emotion. It's like, oh, I'm noticing that you're quite tense. So like, let's not chat about it when you're feeling so tense.
Yeah.
And you can name what's happening instead of just pretending. Like if somebody's shaking, don't like talk to them about it, you know?
True. If someone's like very anxious, you look very anxious right now.
Yeah, if someone's like
then you
super
kind of build
anxious,
it up. But you know what the other side of that you could say is if you're anxious, hey, I'm feeling a little anxious right now. That actually helps you feel less anxious.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, think about the people that when they give presentations and they can joke about when they stutter versus smoothing over it, then you feel like a sense of like, oh, wow, like I love that. They were
Improv.
Exactly. They just kind of poked a little bit at themselves. They're not taking it so seriously. But imagine a person that stutters and then like just gets in their head and then it's like a very slippery slope of like, oh my gosh, now I can feel the discomfort of them like trying to like be a certain way.
Interesting.
So after all this conversation, I feel like relationships should be easy for both individuals.
I think relationships...
The best relationships.
The best, or it's like another way of saying it is maybe relationships can be easy with the right techniques and tools. Like when you have a relationship, think about like a toolkit and you pull out different things where it's like, I'm going to communicate this way. I'm going to communicate this way. A lot of these things have not been learned from. Like unless you had amazing parents that were like super great at relationships, which is not very likely, a lot in society at least. I think it's more so like we're kind of the ones that are learning as we go. So like a lot of these tools and techniques, it comes from relationship coaching, it comes from therapy, it comes from like reading these different
and real life experience too, right?
books. Exactly.
Yeah.
And then like, you know, the real life experience where like somebody hurts your feelings and you don't know how to manage it, then you research it and you're like, oh, that's what it meant. This is what I could say. This is what I could do. Then you kind of learn as you go.
On that topic, how can AI improve your dating life in 2025? We talk about AI on this podcast sometimes.
Oh, I love that. I think AI, it's a very interesting supplement. I wouldn't say it's the end all be all. Like, please don't ask ChatGPT for purely relationship advice and take it without questioning it and like really wanting to like challenge the default narrative, because right now ChatGPT is tailored to like hype you up and to tell you like, yeah, you're right, you know? You're like...
She will respond.
Yeah. She's going to for sure respond if you send this message. Like, AI says all these things. I mean, I've even been like, sometimes I'll ask AI for help with something. Like, I needed help with the hotel. And then I called the hotel and the hotel was like, I don't do that. And I had asked ChatGPT to like read the reviews, and AI, like, it's still not synthesizing information perfectly.
But it can help a little bit.
It can help. So like the more you know yourself, then you can go into it, and it's almost like another, it's just like another information resource. Like they're giving you advice, but do you take advice from all of your friends, or do you only take it from really trusted friends that you know have your back, that know your history, that know who you are, that know how you're operating in this moment? So AI, it's not in that circle. It's like maybe a circle out. So take it with a grain of salt. But I think of AI, there's all of these implementations of dating apps, matchmaking, in terms of like they're really wanting to systemize matchmaking and turn it into like, I think Whitney Wolf of Bumble, she's the one that created Bumble. She just released a statement that I think they're working on trying to create the best matchmaker from AI. So like the AI would be a matchmaker. I don't know if that's possible because so much of matchmaking is very intuitive and it's very like essence driven. So like a lot of when I'm interviewing people, I'm not just like taking them through a questionnaire of like family history, what you're wanting to date from. I'm seeing their energy. I like see how you sit. I see how you present yourself. I see how you laugh. I see the way that you behave. Then I think about the person I'm matching with, and I then try to envision the both of you and if you would laugh at each other's jokes and how you would interact.
That's deep.
AI doesn't do that.
How old are these people?
The people that are reaching out to me?
Yes.
I would say anywhere between, I mean, we have our clientele, which is 30s to 60s.
Okay. And what's the company called? Say it while we're on.
So See You Soon. It's actually
See You Soon. Okay, cool.
That's the events company.
Okay, cool.
So
the event side of it. What's the
event
matchmaking side?
There's really no name because it's very much, I was mentioning this
Oh, it's your
to
personal
you.
brand, basically, your personal business?
It's my personal brand, but
Okay,
it's
got
more
it.
like referral and like recommendation only.
Got it.
So it's not
Private.
like
It's
I
very
have a
private.
website.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I
Got
don't
it.
even
You don't
have
have a website.
I have my own website,
Got it.
but I don't even have like social media. I don't have an Instagram.
Wow.
I'm very like,
Why is that?
I just like, I stopped after 2020, after the
Okay.
pandemic. I felt like I was getting so much anxiety from being on social media.
Really?
And I was like, I don't really need this in my life.
Gotcha.
And then as soon as I stopped it, I mean, it definitely prevents you from being in contact with certain friends. But now I feel like every friend I do have that knows something about me, I have to call them on the phone.
Well,
So
that's
there's like a
cool.
deeper connection.
And so you've had no problems with your business. You just run it with no social media?
No,
It's just
Yeah.
That's
referrals.
just
Wow,
great.
very
it's
cool.
usually just like word of mouth.
And are your clients in LA or are they in New York or both?
They're usually all over the world.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, all
So you do
over.
remote coaching as well?
I do. Most of it is remote.
Wow. So how do you match make somebody remotely?
I do travel to New York a lot.
Wow.
So then that's an opportunity to meet people and to kind of like meet the people that I've been interviewing online.
Like a real
in
life
person.
Cupid.
Yes, basically.
You travel all the way to New York just to meet them and talk to them and
Well,
set
I mean,
them up.
it's like even next week, I'm going to New York to attend some like events and meet with some people that we've been interviewing and connecting with. That's like
Cool.
one of the reasons. Yeah.
Awesome. That's awesome. So how often do you go to New York?
Maybe like once a month.
Once a month.
Once a month.
Wow.
Yeah. Once a
Okay.
month. I used to live there, but I don't know if I would live there again.
Why is that?
New York, it just feels like it was a very specific time of my life. I think when I was in my 20s, I could stomach it. You know, like I could live in like small box apartments
Mm-hmm.
and like really get by with maybe not having a window in my room. But like now I just like really want to have more spaciousness. And my partner and I, we just like really love our place in California. I love California. I love the weather. It's pretty
Nice.
perfect
It
here.
is.
How'd you meet
Yeah.
your husband?
Boyfriend.
Oh, I'm sorry. your boyfriend. How'd you meet your boyfriend?
I met him on Hinge.
Oh, wow.
It works.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
what advice would you give for someone who's trying to find someone for themselves?
I would say, well, first, setting the intention out there that you're looking for somebody. And then after you set it, be really authentic in who you are, knowing that a lot of the dates you go on, they're not going to be for you. And that's okay. But they are a person sitting next to you, sitting in front of you that is as deserving as connection as you. So treat them well. And I think it's so small to treat somebody well on a dating app, to communicate after a date you don't want to connect with them or that you're not feeling a connection. But that kind of like heals the online dating culture. Because what happens is you just don't reach out to them again, right? And then the person is like, online dating does suck. I knew it. And then that kind of perpetuates how they're online dating or like meeting people out in public, and kind of like the women that are like, men are like this and they have these blanketed assumptions. So I think when you're able to be honest and just have a really, like you approach dating from a really, like thinking about doing good in a way because you are doing good, then imagine if there's definitely been people in the past that have gone on dates with people and then after they're like, actually, we're not a match, but I'm going to set you up with my friend.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That happens?
It can. And then imagine also too, I've also made clients that have gone on a date with a woman years ago, and then she remembers what he was like on the date. And then she's like, actually, she could recommend her friends or she would not if she was like, he was not a good date. And like these cities are quite small, LA, New York, San Francisco, people kind of run into each other. You're definitely developing.
Those cities are quite small?
Yeah. In terms of like thinking about dating.
Okay.
Like if you're dating within the same circles, you're going to start to like you're going to start to overlap after a while. Like you're going to start to be like, oh, this girl, I dated like her friend or I dated her roommate. You know, like that sort of thing may happen the longer that you're single.
That's not a good thing.
Well, I mean, imagine if you ghosted her. Then it's so then it's kind of even thinking about the kindness in terms of like, you just never know.
So what kind of expectations should you go into a date with? Like, I mean, I know we never touched on expectations, but I think it's a big topic to be discussed where what are you really expecting out of this date? Or like, what are your intentions as we talked about intentions earlier?
I would say
where should we set the bar at?
Pretty low. Set the bar low.
That's how I feel too.
Yeah, because if you set the bar high and they let you down, you can't help but like personalize them to it. Like I had a free day and I spent it on that date. You know, like that kind of feeling.
Yeah.
People can get into that
Like
frustration.
you wasted that day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like, oh, I wish I could have been home. And then you feel this intensity. How I used to go on dates and how I recommend people go on dates is like, go to a fun place that you like, not just the bar down the street by your house because it's close and convenient, but choose a place that you are excited to go to. Eat a meal that you like or get a drink that you like. So at least that you can control that experience. You don't know how the person's going to be.
Interesting, yeah.
You can control
kind
that.
of go to a familiar place and kind of make
Exactly.
it a good time because you know it's going to be a good time going
Exactly.
there. That's a great point.
If you love like golfing, take her golfing, you know?
Yeah.
Teach her how to golf. And then when you see the person, the minimum and the expectation is just to have fun. Like, how can you get to know this person? And kind of like, because you're both interviewers and you both have a podcast, you used to interview people on the street, approaching dating from that perspective. I want to get this person to like open up a little bit. What questions can I ask them? Not in like a manipulative way, but in a way that's like, I am really interested and curious about this person. How did you get into that job? Was that a job that you always liked growing up? That's so interesting. What kind of job did you want when you were 12?
What do you think two podcast or interview guys should be looking for?
Well, I don't
like
know.
a talkative woman? They all are.
Well, sometimes people, it's very interesting because I talk a lot about like wholeness and dating, but sometimes people look for balance as well.
Oh, true. So having different things sometimes is a good thing as well.
You
right?
could like people, if you're talking a lot, then you could like somebody that just has like a really reserved nature a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's
quiet, so you get home, he doesn't speak.
right? Or like they understand it. Imagine if you were speaking the entire day and then you go home and then someone's like wanting to talk and you just want to decompress.
Like, babe, I can't talk. I have 5 podcasts today.
Exactly.
I would
like
never
your
do
voice
that, though.
is so
if you're listening, I would do that.
yeah, your voice is like so crackly.
Yeah.
So I think date whoever just makes you like happy, excited, and makes you laugh. If you're dating for marriage, long-term relationship, look at from it from that perspective.
Love
but
that.
When I was going back and I was saying about the intention, that's where you could be clear of your intention. If you know you're not ready to be in a relationship, then don't. Just date to get to know people, date to get to know yourself, date to kind of like put yourself out there. If you're honest and you tell people about it, however they perceive it is different. Because you could tell someone, I don't want to be serious, and then they take it seriously. But that's kind of like, if you've communicated it, you know?
Yeah. You've honestly really changed my opinion on like dating coaching because you're very smart, I can tell. And you know this very deeply. There's like these guys on Instagram and they're like, they make these like fake videos and stuff. And we were talking about that once, but there was one reel I saw about a guy dating coach. And he was like, just saying like, you know, the more you put yourself out there, the more you ask her out, or the more people you ask out, you'll just get numb to that, you know?
Yeah.
Like you'll kind of build that muscle to where it's like, okay, I don't really care. If she says no, then that's okay. Then on to the next, you know what I mean? Like, do you agree with that?
I think some dating coaching kind of like they're built upon negging, where it's like when you kind of make you kind of make the woman feel like they're a number, or you make them kind of feel bad about themselves to say yes to you. Where you see things from that perspective of like, it's like exposure therapy, where you're just asking out people until you no longer feel the rejection. and that's okay. That's fine. But if that's how you're treating women, then you're dehumanizing.
Got it.
So
So
then-
you don't like that theory.
Yeah, it's
You like to do the research to get everyone to know what their job is and all that.
right. I mean, I think when you're thinking about dating, because it's like some people want to work with me, but I only work with people based on like readiness. So even if somebody's like, I really want to find a partner, and I meet with them, and I'm like, oh, actually, you're not ready for a relationship.
How do
Really?
you tell them
fail
that?
the test. You can't even get the.
Well, I mean, that's
happens?
also
Wow.
something too, because like if I communicate that to them and then they don't take it well, then it's like, okay, well then that says something because I'm gauging emotional.
You're already fighting the coach. How are you going to get a relationship?
Well, I'm like gauging their emotional regulation because
Uh-huh.
let's say I do give you feedback where like, hey, the person you want to date with did not like meeting with you because you were late and these were some things that you said. Oh, they get really upset. They
Yeah.
get really frustrated by it. Then it's like, oh, if that's like already how you're communicating to me, when I'm giving feedback from other people and that's how you're going to react, that's so much coaching.
That tells you kind of
That's
everything
so
you
much.
need to know.
Exactly. And it's
Yeah.
like, there's so many, this is the amazing thing. There's so many coaches, so many therapists, so many ways, so many pathways for dating. I'm just for a different kind of person. And if the person is really interested in introspection, they want to have awareness, they want to see their blind spots because we all have them. And they're looking for like an honest, compassionate witness that will like help steward that for them. I'm the person for that. But if you're looking for somebody just to match, just to find somebody to complete this happily ever narrative in your mind that you feel like when you find the person, you're done and complete, that's not the way that I operate.
Let's
And
talk about that narrative. I didn't mean to cut you off.
yeah, no.
Do you think that there, like, do you know, like the invisible string theory?
Yeah.
I kind of like believe in that. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah,
Do you
for
believe
sure.
in that?
I do. I'm very
Yeah.
spiritual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is that again?
It's like, you want to explain it?
The invisible string is like no matter what throughout time, it's like imagine strings connected to somebody, two fingers usually. And no matter what throughout time, you're like always connected no matter through what event. And then over time, you're kind of drawn back to each other. It's like red string.
It's like you have a connection to
invisible.
somebody like throughout your whole life. And then that's the person, I don't know.
Yeah.
But what do you think about that? Let's start there.
I believe, so I'm very spiritual and I bring some of that into my practice.
Okay.
Some of it is just like my own private beliefs, but I really believe in the concept of like soulmates. I believe that,
Gotcha. That's where I was going to keep going with.
yeah, and not soulmates meaning it's one person for you. It's more the idea of soulmates meaning
Mates.
if you're able to work on yourself and grow and develop, you can attract somebody at your healthiest level that's also at her healthiest level.
Love that. Like
Then-
be the best version of yourself to
Exactly.
attract the best version.
Exactly. And then everybody you're meeting in that story, this is a personal belief I hold, is magnetizing an area of growth you need to look at. So like any person you're attracted to, and you'll see this in dating, it's very sophisticated how like attraction works. You're kind of like looking for somebody that's magnetizing this growth area for you. And then this person that you're dating will trigger that. A lot of people may see the person as the problem when really it's like something internal to work on. And when you work on that, and as you keep dating, you're going to notice that it's not as much of an issue. And then all of a sudden you've really grown into like this version that you're like, oh my God, I've done the work. I'm really aware. I really like myself. I really know what I want. I'm only going to date people that feel like that. And it's so embodied.
Yeah.
You then know what that feels like. So you can date people and you're like, oh, actually,
Then you don't get super
not my
offended
match.
if it doesn't work out
No.
or something like
because
that.
you're like, this is my
Yeah.
journey and I know what's meant for me will never miss me.
Yeah, that was an issue for me, honestly, because I used to get very hypersensitive in dating because, you know, it's a vulnerable place to be in with somebody,
vulnerable.
right? Yeah. So that you start getting hypersensitive and you start thinking about everything like amplified. But I've actually gotten better at that for sure. But have you dealt with clients that have that issue?
I mean, it's very personal. So I love that you were so open about that because it can feel like you're kind of someone is seeing your core. The more you get to know somebody, the more they're like kind of seeing past the image and they see you for who you are. And then when you're feeling that rejection, of course, it like feels very sensitive. But I think the more that you have this like really deep love and acceptance for yourself, the less it rocks you. And the more you're just like, oh, I'm just not meant for everybody.
Yeah.
That's
Or like
completely cool.
you do you and you wish them all the best. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's like, I really wish you well on your journey
Yeah.
because you really, it's kind of speaking to
That's
that
a beautiful
point.
thing. Like to be able to
Exactly.
walk away from it and still be like, hey, wish you all the best. Like literally.
Well, it's like you were such an important part of my journey. It was painful. I did not like the person I was during parts of it.
For sure.
But I would be a totally different person if I didn't have you.
Wow, that's so deep.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Right? Imagine that feeling if you have that with the breakup. Breakups would then be so much more beautiful.
Yeah.
Because you're like genuinely wishing them well versus what happens, which is like people like hating on each other, saying all this stuff about each other. And it causes so much negativity. Then you might attract somebody that also has a lot of that negativity. So then there's all of
Back
this
to square one.
A little bit. But not square one. It's like back to like seeing where you're at in the journey. Then there's like a mirror that's telling you what you can work on and what you can improve upon.
Do older women even like younger guys? Like, let's talk about that.
For sure.
Really?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, because everybody, and this is the cool thing, is there's no like templated response. It's really just dependent on your energy. And if she really likes your energy, then maybe that's signaling that she has like a really playful, fun energy that she's like seeing in you. And she's like, oh my God, I love that he's like bringing this out of me. And that could signify something about your maturity that she's like seeing as well. So there's like all of these reflections and attractions. And when you see things like that, it stops feeling so charged. It stops feeling so high stakes. You really see you're on a journey and every person is a part of that journey. Wherever you go, like the journey never really stops our entire lives, like until.
So you really talk about self-improvement. You've talked about self-improvement a lot today within this. So is that something you emphasize with the people you work with? Like, hey, you gotta also keep working on yourself. Like, you know, like you have some clients like, hey, you're not even really ready for a relationship. I looked at your bio. And God, you need some work.
Well, I think it's kind of like self-improvement and self-acceptance. So it is something I emphasize because that's a value of mine. But it's kind of like how I'm saying we attract what we're like. I attract clients that are similar to like my values. So then it's already clients that are like interested in that. I write a lot about like rewriting the narrative. I really believe that we have this love story that's handed from us, from our parents and from the TV that we've watched and the role models around us. As we grow older, we can create a new story that fits us and who we are, and that's constantly being updated. So I speak from that framework, and a lot of people that find me are attracted to that framework. They like the way that I present it, and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm actually healing, and I'm talking about this, and you're writing about it. I want to talk to you. So I feel like I'm kind of attracting the kind of clients that make sense for me.
How much does culture play a role in matchmaking?
Interesting question.
Culture meaning like someone's
values,
background.
morals,
Huge.
Where they're from, like Indian, white,
upbringing. Yeah,
it's really big because think about it from a values perspective, meaning that like it seems so light at the beginning because when you're dating somebody, it's more about like, am I attracted to you? Do we have fun? Do we get along? But then over time, as your lives merge, holidays, family, parents, you're trying to like see a long-term future. If they don't want kids, if they aren't close to their family, if there are certain things that you really care about, it's going to create tension. That's what I mean about the shoe dropping. Because like everything's really perfect. Everything seems really great. And then all of a sudden you're like, have we always been fundamentally incompatible? Because like these things matter to me. And the thing about fundamental incompatibilities, meaning if you want kids, they don't. If you really like your family, they don't want to hang out with family. If you value hanging out with your friends and they don't like you doing that, you can't like overcome that. That's just their makeup and that's your makeup. And like that's something I learned a lot when I was like dating in my 20s. In the past, they were like white. And I felt like, I was like, oh, this is totally okay. But I was like, oh, there's like something different when you date somebody with a similar-ish cultural upbringing because there's less of like having to explain things. It's very innate. There's like an understanding that's like, it felt very good when I started dating people that I could understand, you know, because my parents are refugees. I'm an immigrant, meaning my parents were like, I came to America. No, I was born in America, but my parents came here the year before I was here. So like it was difficult assimilating to America. And like not a lot of people get that except people that like understand that background. And it just felt nice to like introduce my parents to like people that like understood their story without me having to like explain this is what it's like to like be the kid of a refugee family. This is like what it, all of these things. Like they just didn't understand it as much, but it's not bad. It just depends.
But sometimes people can be understanding, right?
Totally. I mean, all of my boyfriends have. It just has been different in terms of like their ability to like be there for me the way that I wanted. But that was my value. I prioritized it higher.
So before we segue into marriage, maybe our final big topic of the day, I want to talk about like what are some qualities you as a woman look for in men or in your boyfriend that you have? What are some qualities that you like about him or that like are like, okay, this guy is the right guy?
Yeah, I mean, there's so much to like about my partner. That's why I'm with him right now. I genuinely would be single if I wasn't with somebody as amazing as he was. He was very honest, very kind, family-oriented, an amazing father. And I mean it in terms of like, I did not grow up seeing a lot of good representations of fathers. And he like really put his kids above like everybody. And there's something very attractive to see somebody that just has so much of like this internal moral code that he genuinely lives by. Like he really believes in doing the good thing, the right thing. And it inspires me to be better because I don't orient myself like that. I'm not somebody that's like always striving to do the best. I feel like I have different values, but when I'm around my partner, Jeremy, I feel very inspired by who he is. So inspiration and feeling like a sense of like, it's kind of like a deep breath. When I'm around him, I can totally relax. I'm like, this is awesome. I love him. We laugh together. We have the same sense of humor. We have like a really beautiful family. We like traveling and doing the same things. Like there's so much alignment. It's crazy.
Shout out to Jeremy. Let's go into, so we want to talk about marriage before we end out. This has been going so great. Your answers are really great.
Oh, thank you.
My kind of last couple questions will be, why do you think marriage statistics in the U.S. or divorce is so common, right? Like, talk about like why is marriage so hard?
Marriage is really hard because you're basically promising to commit to somebody for the rest of your life. You're going to try to make it work, and you promise to love them in every state, during the mediocre, during the difficult, and during the happy. I think it's easy to love anybody at their best. It's really hard to love somebody when they're at their worst. And it's really hard to commit to like literally put in the effort to consciously choose that person, because love is really a conscious decision every single day. And if you're starting to like see the person as like an obligation or like resentment, that makes marriage hard because you have to spend theoretically a lifetime if that's what you're choosing to do with that person. And if you're not like really honoring them and like really understanding the promise and commitment you made, it makes marriage very, very difficult. So then I think divorce in itself, I'm not speaking for everybody, but I do think with divorce, people kind of underestimate how much discomfort and change will happen. You will change a lot throughout your lifetime. You're not going to be the same person that you met your partner with. You're going to change with jobs, with things happening with your parents. Like that's the thing that's happening with my friend group. Our parents are getting older and we're like having to have our partner be there for us as, you know, your parents are getting sick. Do you trust your partner with that? There's all of these things of like, how can they really show up for you? Or did you just marry them because they fit this idea in your head?
So you really should be looking for like that comfortable compatibility.
I actually believe that you can have it all in dating. I really fully believe you could be head over heels in love, obsessed with somebody, and also feel that comfortable compatibility. I do totally believe it's possible. It would just happen in phases. You'll return back to that baseline of like, this person is amazing, but there's going to be a lot of days you wake up and you're just doing the dishes, you know?
Yeah.
Or like doing taxes, the dishes, like all of these mundane things that aren't as like fun or filtered or like perfect.
Like the honeymoon phase kind of, right? Like fizzling out, you know? Like
exactly.
When you're in that house with the 4 kids and they're screaming and crying and you
no, literally.
You know, or like,
literally.
You know, I'm not saying that's going to be me, but like, you know, like giving an example.
Yeah, I mean,
that's like marriages fizzle out, like,
it's
and stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, it's like the transition from passionate love to compassionate love.
Ooh.
There's always that transition, but and relationships have phases, but people that don't understand that think something is wrong in my relationship. Like, because when you first date somebody, you're like putting your best foot forward. You're like, this person's amazing. Then there comes a phase when you start to know who they really are, and then you negotiate the relationship and the power dynamic that you're kind of witnessing. If you're able to overcome that, then the relationship fortifies and solidifies, but then it keeps evolving. It's never like a static thing. A relationship is very much, I consider it like a third energy that exists outside of you and your partner. It's like a third thing. You're like maintaining it.
So what do couples that have that like insane chemistry and they're like so just there versus like couples that are like hanging on for dear life? What's the difference between that couple versus the couple that's hanging on?
There's many, many things, but I'll name two of my favorite things. One is there's like this love researcher called John Gottman. Have you heard of him? He created this concept where he can predict with like 90-ish present certainty if somebody's going to get divorced. And how he can predict that is by seeing how couples respond to each other's bids. A bid is a bid for connection. So it's like if your partner is saying, hey, check out this like, the example they use is like, check out the bird outside. The person is like, I don't care. I'm not going to look at that. That's like you disregarding your partner's bid for connection. Let's say you're into video games, but your partner hates it. And then you try to talk to them about it. And then they're like, I don't care. This is like lame. This is boring. Then you're like feeling a sense of like, I'm trying to connect and I'm not feeling it about the things I care about. So now I don't want to share myself and I go inward. The second thing that I feel like is great is when you give your partner kind of like a persistent positive self-image. So like even when your partner's
like
going
saying
through,
you look beautiful today, like just keep this
Exactly.
being like a positive cycle.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Or like when they're going through something bad, you don't judge them on that. You see them for who they are, because that's important to see somebody of realism. You can't be like, you're doing amazing when they're really not. But you can be like, I like really believe in you and I've seen you get through this before. And I'm like, I have your back.
That's
And
where the relationship can be like the best thing in your life.
Totally.
Versus like the woman who's like, you know, I'll get to see you.
Yeah. I mean, and imagine,
or, you know.
imagine that feeling when you're going through something really tough and your partner is like, I believe in you. And I like see
empowering. It's pretty empowering.
I see the person you want to be and I'm like fully backing that. And like, let's do what we can to do that together. It's such an amazing support. Like even as I'm talking about it, I can feel my system opening up to that word versus a person that's like, can you like get up and get out of bed and like, you know what I mean? Like kind of like pushing you, then you don't feel that same expansion. You're like restricted. You're like, I don't feel like I can trust them with like the worst of me. So now I'm not going to be me. I'm just going to be somebody else. And then that changes
The
the
dynamics.
relationship.
Wow. Well, on that note, I'm out of questions. That was a great conversation.
That was awesome.
Yeah. Julie Nguyen, thank you so much.
Thank you so much
being
for
here.
coming.
Is there
Yeah.
anything else you want to say to anybody listening today?
No, I mean, this was such a fun podcast. I love speaking to the both of you. This was a really good conversation, and I'm just super happy to have been here.
We loved having you as our guest today.
did.
It was awesome.
Thank you.
Everybody else, that's a wrap on season 5. What a great season. So many cool guests. We worked really hard on this season, and we'll be back here next year.
Next year, back at it.
Follow Events by DSL right here, guys, on Instagram. We're going to have some events coming up. Maybe Julie Nguyen will be giving a panel at one of them soon. We'll see.
For sure.
But no, just appreciate everybody's support and like and subscribe.
So have a great week.
And a great weekend, everybody.